Hi, I'm Christina, and this is Wayz podcast. Today, my guest is a yoga instructor and an extremely grounded individual who loves guiding people to connect deeper with their body and minds. Bianca, thank you for being here with me again.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be back with you, and I'm just so stoked for this new journey of yours too. Like this whole new direction you're taking your podcast, and it's really always an honor to sit down and just have all these conversations together. So thanks.
Oh, yeah. For our listeners, Bianca has been kind of a regular lately, and life's been crazy. So speaking of craziness, this topic today is specifically about energy, and not energy how most people would perceive it, I think. We're not talking about like the food you eat or taking adequate rest, even though that's both important. We're talking about energy specifically and what feeds you and what takes your energy away, regardless if it's people, scenarios, situations, jobs. We're talking about how to distinguish what drains you and what gives you energy. I want to start by handing it off to you, Bianca, because you're the one who actually came to me with this idea for the discussion today. So why did you want to discuss how to protect your energy and how to harness it and all that good stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like this has been a recent theme of mine lately in my life. And something just clicked how I feel like I've heard this online or just from other people, how energy is your currency, just like money, like we literally pay with our credit cards, cash to buy different things, spend and invest on different items, experiences. And it hit me. I'm like, wait, same thing goes for our energy. Like being mindful of where we're spending our energy on our thoughts, on people, on our time. And our energy is so important because that literally is our life force currency.
Ooh, I was just going to say that.
Yeah. And that might sound a little yoga-y, but energy is kind of what our whole life is about, like our focus, that whole term of where your focus goes, energy flows.
Yeah.
So
I get that. It's funny how you mention it because right away when you said, I feel like a lot of people have been talking about it, not to go super mainstream right now, but didn't Taylor Swift just say something where she's like, think of your energy as like a luxury brand. Not everybody can afford it.
Yes. And she's out here getting engaged.
Oh my gosh, yes. You guys see, she leads by example. But
that's a whole nother topic. Yeah.
No, I love that though, because I feel like this is something that's been pushed off for so long, is protecting your energy and your peace. And it does come off as like woo woo, like I'm protecting myself, but it's a fact that there are so many people and things in this world that will drain you. And people don't understand why they're so stressed out sometimes or they're fatigued. But it's like, if you take a look around, not just like you going to the gym or you going to do certain things like physical energy, but it's in a sense spiritual energy. Like, is that what you would describe it? Your life force energy, like what feeds you or what drains you?
100%. And I think you made a good point there too, like sitting down and taking inventory. I think you actually mentioned this to me a while back, like from a conversation of like taking inventory of where you're spending your time in. And a lot of people don't take that time to take a step back and be like, okay, like where am I placing all of my eggs?
Yeah.
And sometimes we have to get to a point where we're so drained for us to finally sit down and be mindful.
Oh, for sure.
And that's happened to me. Like, I'm so guilty of that. Where like, okay, like I hit burnout, and then that's what makes me consider and pay attention and reevaluate where I'm putting all my energy into. Like, have you had that experience?
Oh, definitely. And I know when I first started becoming aware of it, it was a shocker to me because we always try to rationalize things. I'm a very analytical person. And when I get fatigued, when I get drained, I'll sit down and I'm like, why am I fatigued? Am I drained? And of course, we look for the physical exertions of energy. And some days it's not like I go to the gym. It's not like I'm out there moving around, doing a bunch of tasks. I'm just drained from doing one thing or from being around one person. So it took me a while to actually connect the dots and realize that once again, there's different types of energies. And now that I'm aware of it, when I sit down, I definitely have to think what's been going on lately. And sometimes it's not even super obvious. You kind of have to just be aware of the little things. It's hard sometimes though, because if you're around things for so long, you might not even think that that's what's draining you. Do you know what I mean? Have you ever been in a scenario where something is obviously like extremely draining, but you didn't realize it at first? So now you're like, what is draining me? Because there's nothing new.
Yeah.
How do you distinguish then something that's old that's just been around?
That's a really important question, and it can be difficult coming to that realization and kind of unlearning, because like you said, when you've been around something or you've been into a habit routine of doing that same thing over and over again, it's that familiarity that you just accept as your norm, but actually that norm isn't serving you anymore, or it's not as healthy. And
I think that's been my biggest thing, was everything serves a purpose at one time and place, but life is seasons. You are growing. Some things you do have to let go of. And my biggest thing was things that previously fueled me were now draining me. That's what happens often, because I usually don't stay around. If something right off the bat is draining me, it's a no thank you from me. Yeah. I've always been that way. I don't deal with bullshit. I don't.
Yeah, respectfully goodbye.
Yeah, exactly. But then that's been the most stressful for me, back to your question, I guess, is realizing when old things that were once feeding me are now draining me. And do I just need to step away and take a tiny little break from it? Or is this just like a time for me to move on?
Yeah. And that's being self-aware, I think. Like for anyone who maybe is in a spot where they just don't feel that spark anymore, and maybe they just need time to step away from it, whether that be shifting to a different passion or spending more time somewhere else, like learning again, maybe. And I think allowing yourself to let go and not viewing it as giving up, or something that came to mind is like holding your worth and identity to it. Because at one point, like you said, that was a big part of you. But as you're growing, expanding, it's okay to outgrow things. Yeah. And I resonate deeply.
I feel like we have a very toxic relationship with letting things go, because a lot of people will perceive it as giving up. But it's like, that's not actually giving up. You staying in the situation because it's familiar, because it's comfortable, or feel fear of judgment from others, like that's giving up on yourself. In my personal opinion, we just always see it as like, if something's no longer working out, it's a failure. But I'm like, there are so many other worse things that could happen than you walking away from something. Yeah. I think that's been my biggest thing, is we're all just so scared of change. But back to kind of the main point, give me a situation that you've been in where you're like, it's obvious, clear as day, I should not be doing this.
Well, let's take it back to 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago now. I was working, as you know, this sales corporate job, and it got to a point where I was hitting the same wall over and over again, and I just didn't feel lit up by it anymore. And I was going back and forth internally, like, dang, Bianca, like, you're just not good enough, or you're being so unmotivated, and you just, come on, just like keep pushing, maybe see if something better comes up at the end of the year. But the more I resisted that, I felt like my energy being drained. Like I would wake up every morning not looking forward to getting on my desk. And I'm like, damn, that's not the way to live life. Like, I don't want to feel this way. And not only was I not passionate about it, but I just hated the feeling of feeling unmotivated. And so because I got to that point, I had to make that decision for myself of, okay, it's okay that you've been in this job for 2+ years, and it's okay to look beyond and see what other possibilities are next.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, sometimes you have to hit that wall in order to, find a new direction.
And there's nothing wrong with hitting the wall either. I feel like we always try not to hit the wall, but you do need to hit it in order for you to like move on oftentimes or realize this is not what's working for me. Because if you don't hit that wall, you never actually get a realization.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that a lot of times too, which I'm guilty of, is we don't realize how one area of our life can also affect other areas of our life so drastically. Because you were just saying I wasn't excited to wake up and go sit at my desk. And like, were you excited for really anything at that point in your life? Did you realize that you had energy to do anything else?
Okay, that's a good segue into what actually gives you energy.
Yeah.
Because I think when you start to notice what drains your energy, on the other side of it, you start to realize what actually uplifts you.
Mm-hmm.
And you start to look for the things that excite you. And during that time, we talked about this a little bit on our first episode together of how I got into teaching yoga full time. But at that time, I was teaching yoga at the same time. And even though I was so freaking tired and drained from my 9 to 5, I would have to go to the studio and teach 2 classes. And instantly I was lit up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was so energized and I felt like my cup was being recharged or my battery was being recharged. And it's really valuable to take note of the things that are actually working for you and that are giving you life, whether that's like your creativity or your self-expression and being able to tend and nourish those parts of your life that are giving you energy.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's what gets so scary too, is when people realize like, hey, this is something that's very prevalent in my life. Your job is something a majority of people stress about. Is their career, their job, how they're going to make income. And I get it. We live in a world where currency, money, we do need it. Mm-hmm. And that's what stresses people out when they realize, oh my gosh, my job is actually draining me, but I feel like I'm at a crossroads. I can't quit. Mm-hmm. And therefore, this is just how life is. And they accept living in this either like comfortable numb or this misery of being drained all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like so many times nowadays people come to me and they're like, I'm just too tired. I don't have time for things.
Yeah.
But I'm a big believer that if you go looking also for other options, I'm not saying you have to quit your job like you did.
Yeah.
But if you could find little things to do before or after work or little practices, that will make your day easier to get through.
Oh, yeah.
And give you energy to do that and possibly even like change your outlook on life and your spirit. And that also is an energy shift right there.
Right.
Changing.
Where you're putting your energy into your thoughts, your environment, who you surround yourself with, like find a supportive community and pour your energy into that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I feel is so honestly valuable, like having friendships like you and genuine people that celebrate you and push you to be a better person. And that can be so supportive, especially going through times where you're feeling like, okay, I don't think my energy is 100% there, but where can I lean onto the relationships that remind me of, I know I'm okay and I'm good.
What are certain qualities then you notice in people that will give you energy versus draining your energy? Let me ask you that, like how, because I know some people, once again, when we're pinpointing who we want to be around, what makes us feel good, how do you distinguish this is somebody that I should be around or shouldn't be around? This is something I should be doing or shouldn't be doing?
Mm-hmm. I think I started tuning in to how I felt after hanging out with certain people. Like a few years ago, I definitely wasn't this like introspective or paid attention to actually how I felt after hanging out with certain people. I would kind of brush it off under the rug. But now I definitely tune in into how I feel after a certain hangout or a conversation. And I find that, I'm a big proponent of quality over quantity. Like I'm just so grateful that I have a solid group of friends and people that I can lean on, that I always feel like either lit up, inspired, or like my cup is full. And I think that's the best compliment you can give someone. Like, I love when my friends say like, oh my gosh, like I feel so recharged after talking to you.
Yeah.
And I think that is such a like beneficial relationship to have. And just noticing how you feel after being with someone versus if you feel confused, drained, like exhausted, I think that's a telltale sign. You know, and obviously every situation's different, but I invite you, whoever's listening, to notice how you feel with certain people and then take note of like why. Maybe because y'all have been gossiping over people, or maybe you find that that friend has just been complaining, or isn't really supportive of your vision. That can all be energy drainers.
Oh, for sure. I love those friends that like when you're around, you just act silly and you feed off of each other. I do believe that energy is an exchange. Nobody should ever be complete. I do get not everything is always equal. Like some days you're going to be 80 and I'm going to be 20, but like you have enough energy to give to me too. When we feed off of each other, I do. And then I'm there for you the days that you're low. And most of the time I feel like we are at the same frequency. Those friends that you can just be yourself around and will build you up, because that's the thing also is like, we love to build each other up. We're over here. We're trying to create our dream lives, like have fun in the making, like laugh and all that stuff, where there are other people who they match differently and feed off of different energies. You know what I mean? Like our energy might just be like giggly, high vibe, let's go. Where other people, it's like if you can rot on the couch together and like that's a good energetic exchange, because if you're around somebody then who is super bubbly and you're chilling, it's not going to match. That's kind of where I wanted to go to with like the frequency thing.
I like that point.
Yeah. Because I feel like everybody's like energy. We think of energy and it's always like energizing, right? Like you plug your phone into the wall, it gives it juice to stay up. But people, it's the Energizer Bunny type of thing that I'm envisioning. But when I mean energy is somebody to match your frequency that you vibe very, very well with. And it's kind of like a flow state. I do get there's those friends that will make you want to get up off the couch, but sometimes those friends are exhausting too. And going back to kind of like, how do you let go of somebody that used to match your frequency but doesn't anymore? Because that's something too. It's like you might have been on the same frequency, the same vibe before. You might have been feeding each other, but somewhere along the way, somebody let their battery go more dead and yours got more full. But every time you're around them, they have nothing to give. So therefore, you're getting drained. How do you deal with that? Like walking away?
That's such a good question, Christina. And I'm so curious to hear your thoughts on this too, because especially as you grow, like we said, like outgrowing certain things, places, people, especially relationships. Let me chew on that for a second.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not here to like obviously not name names or say situations, but I know recently you've been talking about a certain individual person who's been draining your energy. What's been going through your head when you're talking to this person? Because I'll tell you about one of my friends that's been driving my energy, girl. Let's get real really quick. We can talk all day about the concepts, but life experiences is kind of where it's at sometimes.
No, it's all where the stories are at. Like real personal stories.
So let's get to it. That's one of the reasons we wanted to talk about this. What is it? Let me ask you that.
Inspired this conversation, to be honest.
One day you were sitting there probably and you're like, what the absolute fuck?
Yeah, and it's honestly like what we were talking about a few seconds ago of recognizing how you feel after talking and spending time with a person. And lately, I've been feeling drained and not really like my upbeat self after talking to this person. And I know who I am at my core. I'm like, I know I am a radiant, like excited, like upbeat person. Obviously not all the time, but it's like, damn, like this person definitely takes a toll on my mental and energetic like
Your energetic
state.
life, who you
Yeah.
are, like your
Yeah.
blueprint. I wish there was a good word to describe
Right?
this. Is there?
I don't know. It's so hard to not like say it without fluff.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And that's what's made me kind of reflect on, okay, taking inventory of what does not belong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that little game of like, like what stands out here and what do you need to take out in order to clear space to bring new in?
Yeah.
And that's what I've been kind of going through. And recognizing, like what you said, the frequency thing. At one point, we were on the same frequency, a match. Like, I felt like we both were giving and receiving. But then it came to a point where I'm like, wait a second. Like, I don't even feel like there's even this 80-20 anymore. Like, I honestly feel like I'm giving 100% and I'm not getting anything.
You're charging them, but you're not getting anything in return. Therefore, you end up empty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's not a fun feeling, because then that does affect the rest of your other aspects of your life. I mean, yes, you can still live your life, but it takes extra energy within myself to come back to my normal state, if you will.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah.
So see, to me, that's a telltale sign right there. I kind of want to go into signs because I feel like when we think about it, there are like, this doesn't feel good, multiple different signs. But to me, anybody, when I'm around them, I don't like who I am. I don't like who I am being. They're turning me into some different version of myself. That is a telltale sign where I'm like, I don't like who I am when I'm around you. I shouldn't be around you. Because a lot of times you have to put on a mask to fit their vibration, who they are.
Yeah.
And it's just like, we're not a match. This isn't good.
Yeah. And also add a point to that too. Like, if for anyone who's going through a similar situation, whether it be a romantic relationship or a friendship or even like a boss, I mean, maybe not a boss where you can like actually distance yourself from them unless you quit cold turkey, but maybe notice how you feel when you do give yourself that distance from them. How do you feel? Do you feel anxious? Do you actually feel like a relief getting that space from them? Do you feel more clear-headed and like, actually, I am better off like without your energy around me? That's another sign.
And I do think that there's definitely, because it's inevitable that we can't get away from certain people. Like you said, a boss. I do feel like there's ways to protect yourself as well as like not let them drain you as much. Like you set up boundaries, you speak your truth, you don't dim your light to match like how they are. Because I feel like that also drains people too, is if, like if they're in a low vibe environment, they just let that environment kind of sink them down. They try to match the energy in the room, and it's like, no, I'll be the person who brings it, like lights it up until it's draining my actual light. But I say this too because I had a friend recently, we were walking down the street and he just said something so rude. And old Christina used to love to like talk shit. I'm not gonna lie. I was definitely a little bit more out of pocket, but now I'm just like, I don't really like it. It's warranted at a certain time or place if it's all in good fun. Yeah. But this guy is like definitely saying it spitefully. And I'm just like, I don't really want to be around you, dude. Yeah. Like, I don't like what you just said. I don't like who you are. And I don't like who I am when I am around you. Like, you're encouraging me to do things that I don't like to do anymore. And I still love you. I respect you for being who you are. Just because I changed does not mean that I have any hate on you. But will I hang out with you every single day like I used to? No. If you ever need a listening ear, I am here once in a while. But stop being the boy who cried wolf because it's draining me. I am not going to keep repeating myself. I literally told him too, because he keeps talking about the same girl. I'm just like, I'm like, you only call me when you want to talk about her. I don't want to talk about her anymore. Like, I'm done. I think setting boundaries and realizing that, hey, like, and he said I was kind of being a jerk. And I'm like, that's okay. It's okay to be a jerk. It's okay to also, like, once again, if your boss is asking extra from you and not reciprocating you in any way, shape, or form, like extra money, I guarantee you get that little extra money, you're going to light up a little bit more. But if you feel like you're getting taken advantage of, speak your mind, speak your piece, and don't let anybody bring you down. Amen. That's my biggest thing when it comes to protecting your energy is like, you know who you are. And don't let anybody change that or phase that. If somebody is trying to change you, they're not for you, and that is okay. If somebody's trying to bring you down to their level, you are okay to walk away. Yeah. Like Taylor said, not everybody can afford you.
Yep.
Not everybody is also worthy of what you have to bring to the table, or you guys are just like two different restaurants. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Go eat at the restaurants you like. It's okay.
Right. And it's okay if they don't necessarily see your worth, but what matters is how much you see yourself. Mm-hmm. Because the last thing you want to do is lose yourself in that other person or place or thing that's draining your energy.
Yeah.
Like, call all your energy back to yourself. Like, that's another theme. Like, bring your power back to you. Like, stop spending on people that you're not getting any other investment in, or like
I said, everything should be equal. If you're not getting anything out of it, I'm sorry. What are you doing?
Then what's the point?
Actually, I don't understand. And I do get this also goes down to like oftentimes a self-worth thing.
Yeah.
Because people will oftentimes give and give and give parts of themselves in order to feel validated. Mm-hmm. But honey, like, you should be able to validate yourself. That's a whole nother bigger issue. If you are giving to people to prove your worth, like, you don't have to prove it. You being you is completely fine.
Mm-hmm. And for what it's worth, like, if you're being drained, then that's not really benefiting you.
You're eventually not going to have anything left to give.
Yeah.
That's what I realized. And then you're down to the truth. Yeah. And then you're down in the dumps. Like, you can't do anything. I can't tell you how many times back in my early 20s, I was like glued to the couch all weekend. Cause I'm like, I just can't move anymore. Yeah. I'm freaking done. I'm done talking with people. I'm done going to this job. I'm done being in this environment. Like, I literally did not have any life outside of the thing that was sucking my energy. Yeah. So sometimes you do have to walk away. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or even do things to help, because now, once again, I do think that things even that give you energy can drain you sometimes. Mm-hmm. And that's where you just take a little bit of a break. What do you do from the things you still want in your life, but you feel like you need a recharge? How do you recharge yourself?
Plug myself in the wall.
Yeah, no, actually though.
Like an iPhone.
I had this conversation with somebody on my
Red
roof.
Bull on the way here.
I had this conversation with somebody on my roof today. I'm like, I only have an hour to like sit outside, but I'm like, I had to come and plug myself in really quick. Like, me sitting out in the sun, like I'm recharging. I need some juice. This is my juice.
Oh, I love that.
You know, like, I think being really self-aware, I feel like is just a great characteristic to have of yourself.
Yeah.
If that even makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely.
And I know what I need. And a lot of times if I'm drained, sometimes it doesn't work. Nothing's always like a fix it all, but the sun helps me so much.
Yes, I love that. I'm the same way, girl. Like, it's been freaking hot in LA recently, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go outside and enjoy the sun, because it does give you energy. Literally.
Oh, for sure. That, nature.
Yes.
Booking trips.
Yeah. Going to Cabo on this weekend.
Yeah. Or talking with somebody, like picking up the phone and just being like, hey, this is what's going on. Yeah. I don't believe in necessarily like fixating on negative things, fixating on things that drain your energy, but sometimes you do have to just let it out.
Right. Release the energy.
Yeah.
Like, take it out. And another thing that got me thinking is, I heard this recently from like an article or whatever, but it said, how often do we actually sit down in the morning and ask ourselves, what do I need right now? Like, literally taking a breath and being like, what do I need right now?
Do you do that?
Something I've been recently doing, as in like yesterday.
Okay.
Because I need that.
You gotta start somewhere, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, as in yesterday.
Try it out. I feel like it helps, because, you know, even taking that pause and realizing, oh shit, I need to go outside, or actually I want to just sit down and write in my journal, and just having that time to tune in intuitively and be like, okay, let me be with myself before I go autopilot on the rest of my errands, but taking that 5 seconds to see what you need.
What do you do if you know what you need for yourself, but it does not seem realistic in that moment?
What do you mean? Like, going on a trip in this moment, or what?
I guess so. Like, what if you are like, whew, I really need to take a break.
Okay.
I don't want to go into work today, but I have to. Or what if you're like, I really need to do a slow yoga flow right now, but you don't have time to, quotations, you guys. Yeah. I never believe in really don't. But you don't have time to.
First thing that came to mind is that it all comes back to the mind.
Okay.
And as tough it can be sometimes, literally shifting your mindset, how you talk to yourself of like, like I really don't want to write right now. I don't want to write this email or this content idea, whatever. But shifting your mind, being like, okay, you got this, Bianca. Like, you get to write this out. You can focus on how you're going to feel after. Like, even though you don't necessarily want to at this second, shift it to like, oh, I'm going to feel great after I do it.
Yeah.
Like, I like how I feel after, right? You know, like, even though you don't initially want to spend time on a certain thing, but you know you like how you feel after that task gets done.
There are so many things throughout my life that I have told myself, I'm like, I really do not want to do this.
Yep.
So many times that I'm either like scared to do, that I don't feel like I have the energy, but I get up and I do it anyways. Yeah. And I'm always so happy I did. And once again, I have more energy after. This is something that I will always repeat until I'm like blue in the face is sometimes the way to get through things is walking through it. Sometimes the way to change your life and to feel better is to start doing things that suck. It doesn't feel good at first, but eventually it will feel better.
Yes, absolutely.
Like,
I've said it better myself. But it's like sometimes the most like lesson that we don't want to hear is like the simplest.
You have to go through the shit to get out of the shit.
Yeah,
I don't know where
the only way through is through.
No, but it's so true though. I can't tell you how many times once again where I feel so much better after doing the things, even though it scares the shit out of me. Yeah. And there's always going to be new things that scare you. Yeah. But I think it's knowing that it's worth it. I think we all know what it's going to be worth it in the long run. And we all get so scared because we think we're like, oh, if I take time for myself, if I let this person go, we think it's going to be some dramatic change in our life that's going to be detrimental to like our job, to our career, to our social life. But it's so funny because when you, like you said, when you let go of those things, that attachment, it allows room for blessings and what's meant for you in that energy and that flow to come in. When you focus your energy on yourself, everything that's meant for you will come to you.
Yeah, then you'll be a magnet to everything that you are literally meant to attract. And that only happens when you clear space from the things that are draining you.
So to close everything out, what is something that's feeding you right now, lighting you up, giving you energy?
What's lighting me up is experimenting with my creativity during my yoga classes that I teach. Like, I feel like I just unlocked like a new sense of inspiration. And when I follow that creativity and actually execute it, it flows so well. And the people that I guide actually receive it and they enjoy it. So I think that's been lighting me up lately, just following my own sense of inspiration and actually following through with it. And another thing is our retreat that we were building together. That's been lighting me up, even though like what we were talking about, even though it can be like a lot of work sometimes.
We've definitely ran into roadblocks and yeah.
What is continuing to light that fire is the mission, the purpose, and that's what's been driving me forward and us forward, I feel like.
I could not have said that better myself. I do think that's a really good point, actually, is like realize when it's worth it. Because I do, like
worth your energy.
Yes. Yeah. People love to just go like full-fledged into one thing, and life is so multifaceted and there's so many different ways to look at things. And I think we deep down know like if it's just a little rough patch that we're hitting and we need to push through. And there's so much more energy on the other side versus something that's just continuously draining. Yeah. I just don't want anybody to get discouraged and say like, oh, this is hard. That means that like it's taking more of my energy and I should stop. Don't. No. I think you know when it's like the hard you want to put up with versus the hard you don't want to put up with. But I can completely relate myself right now. What I was kind of going to say is I'm learning to do a bunch of things artistically and like by myself when it comes to this podcast, I guess. And I can't tell you how many times I'm sitting at my computer and I'm like, what the fuck? Wanted to
throw it across the room and just shut it down.
But it's when I finally get it and I see everything coming together and I look at the final product, I'm just like, hell yeah, bouncing off the walls, jumping up and down. I will call my friend who I've called 10 times helping me fix a problem and say, I finally got it. Like, it's that excitement that I want people to hold on to. And that's what's feeding me right now is I think just knowing where I want to take my life and everything and kind of just like the people I want to reach out to and touch is what's feeding me.
Aww.
So.
And it literally is materializing, Christina.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I love you, Bianca.
I love you too, sister. Oh God, that was cheesy.
I love the cheesy. And I love you guys. Thank you for listening.